The sky above West Africa was quiet, a deep blue blanket unbroken by clouds. But that silence would not last long. At exactly 0900 hours, radar systems at Ouagadougou Air Command lit up with a red alert. An unidentified aircraft had entered Burkina Faso's airspace from the northwest, moving fast, low, and without clearance. Inside the command center, officers scrambled into action. Screens blinked, radios buzzed. Young Air Force cadets shouted coordinates. Within seconds, the identity of the intruder became clear. "It's an F-35 Lightning II," said Captain Tapsuba, eyes wide. "An American stealth fighter." There was no flight plan filed, no diplomatic notification. The U.S. hadn't informed anyone of such a move. It was a deliberate one. The news made its way to the presidential bunker within minutes. President Captain Ibrahim was in his office, reviewing a proposal for agricultural reform. When his military aide whispered in his ear, he looked up, eyes hardening. He didn't panic, he didn't blink. He stood up calmly, placed his red beret on his head, and said 5 words. "Take me to command center." Within minutes, was in the Air Force control room, standing over a cluster of officers. A 3D holographic display showed the American jets position cruising directly over strategic zones, including a major military base and a uranium reserve. "What is the pilot doing?" asked coldly. "Reconnaissance? Most likely. Testing radar response time. Mapping terrain. Maybe provoking us?" replied Colonel Burkina Faso's air defense chief. Nodded slowly. Then he leaned forward and pressed a button on the central console. Open direct comms to the intruder. There was static. Then a voice, casual, almost arrogant. "This is U.S. Navy Jet 117 requesting passage. We're just passing through. No harm intended." Spoke.com but firm. "This is Captain Ibrahim, President of Burkina Faso. You are violating sovereign airspace without permission. Turn around immediately or face consequences." The American voice responded with silence. Then, laughter. "Mr. President," the pilot said mockingly, "we're not here to discuss politics. Just a routine. Flyby. Don't overreact." The room went cold. No one spoke. S jaw tightened. He didn't need to say much. He turned to Colonel Zongo and nodded once. "Activate Eagle Protocol." Within seconds, 2 Mirage F-1 fighter jets launched from the eastern airbase. Their engines roared as they rose into the sky, locked onto the F-35's trajectory. In the skies above, the American pilot suddenly found his stealth advantage compromised. The local radar had him locked, and now he was flanked by 2 fast-approaching fighters. Burkina Faso had been upgrading thanks to new partnerships with Russia, China, and regional allies. The pilot radioed his command. "Command, I've got 2 bogies on my tail. African jets. Requesting guidance." No response. The jet was too deep in foreign territory, jammed by ground signal interceptors. Then another voice broke through the static again, this time over a secure frequency. "This is your final warning. You are not above international law. We are no longer colonies. You will leave our skies or be escorted out with or without your consent." This time, the American didn't laugh. He checked his instruments. Missile lock warnings began blinking. He realized this was not just symbolic. They were serious. And he was alone. He banked hard to the west, accelerating as fast as the jet could carry him. The fighters followed until he was out of range, then returned home without firing a single shot. Back at the command center, cheers erupted, but remained composed. He raised his hand. "This is not just about jets. It's about dignity," he said. "They think they can intimidate us. They are wrong." News of the incident spread like wildfire. African social media exploded. Hashtags like #African Skies for Africans and #TRAORE stands tall trended worldwide. Western media tried to downplay it. Routine flight, misinterpreted, miscommunication in West Africa. But people on the ground knew the truth. This was a new chapter. A chapter where Africa would no longer be treated as a playground for foreign powers. A few hours later, a formal message arrived from the U.S. Embassy. "We regret the incident. The flight was not authorized for that airspace. Measures will be taken to ensure such events do not occur again." Didn't he reply? Instead, he called a press conference, standing before a sea of microphones, dressed in full uniform. He looked directly into the camera and said, "We are not anti-America. We are pro-Africa. Let the world understand. The age of unannounced guests is over." That night, the skies above Burkina Faso were quiet once more. But this time, everyone knew. Africa was watching. And Ibrahim had just drawn a red line that would not be crossed again.